Good evening, boys and girls. It's time for another bedtime story with Miss Alonso. Tonight, I am reading you a story that I am sure you have heard of before, but this is one of the multiple versions of the story. This story is called The Three Little Pigs, and this one is by Gavin Bishop. Now, this is what the three little pigs and their family say happened. But tomorrow night, I will be reading the true story of the three little pigs by the wolf, who is my family. And what I would like is after I read you the pig story and the wolf story, I need you to decide who is telling the truth, the three little pigs or the wolf. And I want to hear from you tomorrow night who you believe. Surely you will come to the same conclusion as myself. But I do hope that you enjoyed tonight's story. Make sure as I read, you listen closely to the three little pigs and what their decisions were as they were building their own homes. Think about the materials they chose. Did they really think about which material would help them have a shelter that would protect them? And remember, shelter is a need, not a want. So they need a shelter that can protect them. And I want you to think about, did they put in a lot of effort? Which type of material would you have used, or would you have used something completely different to help protect you if you were building your own home? I cannot wait to hear what you think at the end of the story. One day, Mrs. Pig decided it was time her sons left home. Now, if you look, Mrs. Pig is mowing the yard while the three little pigs are swimming, lounging around reading in the shade, taking a nap, and listening to music. I wonder why she thought it was time for them to leave home. So she packed them some lunch and sent them off to seek their fortunes. I do not blame her one bit. It was time for them to head out on their own. The first little pig met a man carrying a bundle of straw. "Please, may I have some straw to build a house?" asked the little pig. The man gave him some straw, and the little pig built a fine straw house. What do you think about a house made of straw? There's the straw. There's our first little pig. Before long, a wolf came by and knocked at the door and said, little pig, let me come in." "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." Well, that wasn't nice. Why wouldn't he let the wolf come in and say hello to his new neighbor? Here's his straw house. What do you think? Look at my brother Wolf here as he's knocking. Look at what is already happening to the straw house. See, it was weak. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down and ate up the pig. Well, the pig did hurt his feelings. And the house was already almost falling over just by him knocking. Don't you agree? The second little pig met a man carrying a bundle of sticks. "Please, may I have some sticks to build a house?" asked the little pig. The man gave him some sticks, and the little pig built himself a fine stick house. Wow, look at the stick house. He even has a design in the door, and look at the nice window and decorations. Do you think the second little pig put in a little bit more thought and effort to building his home? I like the shape of his home too. There's the man that he got the sticks from. It wasn't long before the wolf knocked at the door and said, little pig, let me come in." "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." Why will no one let my brother in to say hello? Doesn't he look so friendly? The little pig would not let him in. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and at last he blew the house down and ate up the little pig. That was a lot harder to blow down. The stick house was not so easy. He had to huff and puff and puff and huff. Whew. He even blew so hard his headphones flew off. The third little pig met a man with a load of bricks. "Please, may I have some bricks to build a house?" asked the little pig. The man gave him some bricks, and the little pig built himself a fine brick house. So here is the man who is hauling all the bricks, and this little pig, our third little pig, asked him for bricks so he can build his home. And look at how much effort it takes to build his house out of bricks. What do you think? Do you think his house is going to be able to protect him more than the sticks and the straw? We know the straw fell over very easily. The sticks were pretty difficult for the wolf. I wonder about this brick house. Maybe the wolf won't even bother this pig since his house is made out of bricks. Let's see what happens. Soon the wolf came by. He knocked on the door and said, little pig, let me come in." "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. Why will no one let him in? Doesn't he look so friendly? He's got his jacket on and his sunglasses. He just wants to say hello. Look at this brick house. Very beautiful and sturdy. He even has some plants growing, but he will not let him come in. Do you think he can blow the house in? He says he can. He's pretty upset. We'll see. Well, he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed and he huffed and he puffed. But no matter how hard he tried, he could not blow the house down. When he found that he could not blow the house down, the wolf said, little pig, I know where there is a field of the biggest turnips you've ever seen." Clever wolf. He tried. Look, he is all tuckered out. His sunglasses and headphones almost flew off. Turnips sound good. I wonder if our little pig will want to go. "Where?" said the little pig. Look at how cozy he is in his chair by his fireplace. He's got his storage up there in the attic and a chimney. I wonder where these turnips are. "Why, in Mr. Smith's field," said the wolf. "If you are ready tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, I will call for you and we can go together." "Very well," said the little pig. "I'll be ready." If you remember the grouchy ladybug, you remember 6 o'clock. When you hear o'clock, that minute hand's at the top, and your hour hand is what we said first. So the hour hand is pointing down directly at the 6. So he says, at 6 o'clock, I will call for you and we can go to the field together to see the turnips in Mr. Smith's field. And little pig says, very well, I'll be ready. So here's the wolf. He's even wiping his forehead. He got all sweaty trying to blow down the house. And our little pig peeked out the door to talk to him. Now the plants didn't go over so well when he huffed and puffed. Do you think it's a good idea for our little pig to go with the wolf to the turnip field? Do you think maybe they've made friends? Or do you think this is a clever trick so the wolf can eat up the third little pig? I think he just wants to be friends. That's the version of my family. Next morning, the little pig set off for Mr. Smith's field at 5 o'clock and gathered a whole basket of turnips. Wait a minute. What time did the wolf tell him he would be by? 6 o'clock, but the little pig went at 5 o'clock that morning. So he went an hour earlier to the field and picked his own turnips. Oh, he's going to have plenty for a nice meal. So our little pig is also very clever. The wolf arrived at 6 o'clock and called, little pig, are you ready? Ready? the little pig replied. "I've already been there and back again, and I have a nice pot full of turnips for my dinner." How do you think the wolf feels now? I know Pig has a big smile on his face. Wonder what the wolf is going to do now. The wolf was very angry, but he still thought he could trick the little pig somehow. Oh, he was being tricky. "Little pig," he said, "I know where there is an apple tree that grows the reddest, sweetest apples you've ever tasted." "Where?" asked the little pig. "Down at Mary Garden," replied the wolf. "I will call for you at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning and we can go together." So the wolf is trying to trick him. He was very angry, but he knew he was going to have to come up with some sort of trick. So he brings up going to pick apples the next morning at 5 o'clock. I'm glad Mr. Pig is only talking to him through the window this time and not the door. The door was a little dangerous. Next morning, the little pig woke up at 4 o'clock and set off for the apple tree, hoping to get back before the wolf arrived. However, because he had to go farther this time, and because he had to climb the tree, he was just coming down from it when he saw the wolf approaching. So even though little pig got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, an hour earlier, pigs do not climb trees very well, and it was further away, so he had to walk a lot further. He had to climb the tree to gather all the sweetest, juiciest apples. And right at 5 o'clock, as he starts to come down, he notices the wolf heading towards his house. What is he going to do? Is he just going to hide in the tree all day long? What do you think he should do? Run for it? Run back to his mom? Ask if he can move back in? I don't know, but he's in a lot of trouble. He's got to think of something. "So, you're already here, little pig." Uh-oh, the wolf has already seen him. "Are they nice apples?" said the wolf. "Yes, delicious," said the little pig. "Here, try one." And with that, he threw an apple as hard as he could so that the wolf had to run after it. The little pig quickly jumped down and ran home. I thought he was going to hit the wolf with the apple, but instead he threw it so far that the wolf had to chase it. And as he was chasing after the apple that the pig threw, little pig took off running back to his house. Do you think he'll make it back in time? I hope so. It says he ran home. The next day, the wolf came to visit again. "Little pig, there is a fair at Shanklin this afternoon. Shall we go?" "Oh, yes," said the little pig. "What time will you call?" "At 3 o'clock," said the wolf. As usual, the little pig set off well ahead of time. So there's a big fair at Shanklin, and he is inviting little pig at 3 o'clock. But little pig heads out way ahead of time, so he does not have to worry about the wolf. So far, this hasn't been as easy as his other two little brothers. This little pig has really thought about his house and what he needed to protect him, as well as how to outsmart the wolf so far. I hope that it continues. He almost got caught the last time. At the fair, he bought a butter churn and was carrying it home when he saw the wolf in the distance. Quickly, he climbed into the churn, but the churn toppled over and rolled down the hill with the little pig inside. The wolf was so frightened that he ran home. Look as this churn starts to roll, and here's the wolf. He's trying to get out of the way. It scared him so badly that he ran home. He had no idea the little pig was inside. Later, he went to the little pig's house and told him how he had been attacked by a huge round thing that came rolling down the hill at him. The little pig laughed and laughed. "Ha ha, that was me who frightened you," said the little pig. And he told the wolf what had happened. Ooh, I don't know if that was a good idea. What do you think? There's the little pig telling the wolf that it was him, as the wolf was telling him this frightening story about this round thing that was rolling towards him. I don't think the wolf is going to be too happy, and I do not think he's going to think it's funny. The wolf was now extremely angry and told the little pig that he was going to climb down the chimney and eat him up. At that, the little pig quickly put a big pot of water on the fire to boil. Oh no, that chimney was a good idea, but the wolf is going to sneak into the house through the chimney. But our clever little pig puts this big pot of water over the fire, and we know that when water heats up, it starts to boil. So hopefully that will keep him from coming down the chimney. As the wolf came down the chimney, the little pig took off the lid and in fell the wolf. Ooh, that's going to be hot. In an instant, the little pig put the lid back on the pot. So he stuck the wolf in the pot. He put my brother in this hot boiling pot of water. Instead of just scaring him, he's trapped him in this hot pot. Oh no, my poor brother. That was the end of the wolf, and the little pig lived happily ever after. Oh my goodness, I don't know what quite happened. They never told us the end of the story, but the pot looks empty and his belly looks full and he has his hand over his belly. I think he ate my brother. He even had sides to go with it. Oh, I still hope that my brother escaped. We still do not know. We have not found him yet. However, I will say, that third little pig is very clever. He's very smart. With every trick that my brother wolf came up with, the third little pig had a trick of his own and was able to outsmart the wolf over and over and over again up until that very last moment. So out of all three little pigs, our third little pig was able to continue to fight back against the wolf, whereas the other two little brothers, not so much. They didn't put in enough effort and think about the materials that they needed to build their house. Now at school, we had a family STEM night, and what we did is we gave our boys and girls some materials, and they got to choose any materials they would like. And their whole job was to create a house for a little pig. And they put their little pig inside that house, finished building their home, and then we used a hairdryer, which represented the big bad wolf, because wolf was huffing and puffing, so he was blowing, and so a hairdryer is very strong, just like the wolf. And we had to see which little pigs made it through the huffing and puffing. They stayed inside their home, and you could not tape down the little pig or stick him in between something. He had to be able to just sit in his home and with the huffing and puffing not fly out. So if you would like a fun STEM activity, you could build your very own three little pig house and put your little pig inside of there, or draw your own little pig and cut your little pig out and put it inside of your home. No taping him down or her down and sticking it between anything. You got to stick your pig in the house and then use your hairdryer. Ask your parents first and see if your little pig can stay inside your house. That means your house was built very sturdy so it doesn't fall over or blow away. And it was built so well that your little pig does not come flying out of the house when the wolf blows and tries to blow it down. Now, that is the version of the three little pigs. However, tomorrow night, I will be reading you the true story. This is my brother's story about what really happened, and it is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. After tomorrow night's reading, I would love to hear from you. Whose story do you believe? Many people have never heard my brother's story before. So I hope that when my family reads to you tomorrow night, you will see what he says truly happened, and you will side with who you believe is telling the truth, the three little pigs and their family, or the wolf and our family. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's story. If you do the STEM activity, I would love to see pictures of it. I think Victoria and I, she asked if we could do one. So we're going to build a house after I finish reading tonight before bed. If you get time before bed to read or listen to the story or read your own version of your books, if you have them around the house, I've seen some of my boys and girls reading different versions of the Three Little Pigs. If you have time, I would love to see how you build your home, what you use, and even maybe a video of what happens when the big bad wolf hairdryer tries to blow your house down or blow your little pig out of the house. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's story. I cannot wait to read to you again tomorrow the true story of the 3 little pigs. I love you, boys and girls. I hope that this was fun, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with next. Love you guys. Sweet dreams.